All right.
This meeting is being recorded.
But how was your week?
It's been good.
Good?
Yes. The weekend was filled with lots of festivities and things, but
Oh, that's right, your daughter's birthday.
well, no, that's
No,
coming up this weekend.
that's this weekend. Oh, was that
Um,
your
my
bride?
nephew's wedding.
Oh, your nephew's wedding.
Yes.
Ooh,
So,
you got a
yeah.
busy November going on.
Yes, and it's already busy in this family because most of the babies are born in November. For some reason, we like November.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's already a busy month. But
Okay. Well, thanks for making time for doing this. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. Yeah.
And all right, so I know we kind of got on there a little bit early. If things go as they have been, it's probably just gonna it's probably just gonna be you and me again, but
That's right. We can just do our check-in and then you can go to bed.
no, I am here for the duration. But
Okay.
so what did you think? It was seemed like a pretty intense week. I didn't mean for it to be so like, whoa, that's pretty deep, but um
Um, I actually didn't think about the grieving.
at all. You know what? I don't believe I did either, but I know a lot of people I've spoken with have said that.
Um, so I mean, it makes sense though. It's like, wow, like I just I'm still in denial. Right? It's like, yeah, I definitely need to be able to let that process go.
I mean,
There are still some
yeah.
things that I hold on to of who I used to be, and I'm not that person anymore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that? I mean, do you want to be that person?
No. No. I feel like I like the person that I am now much more than I ever have. So that means I'm being a better person. Um, but I definitely am inspired by what you had to say to do a ceremony and just like let that bitch go.
It's yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, really, if you think about it, we could grieve for a lot of things in different areas of our lives.
Mm,
It's not necessarily because somebody you love dies or a pet dies,
right.
but I mean, the steps are, pretty important. And it is important to let go of stuff that no longer serves us. Like that goes with totally, maybe the person that you are, but what about all those thoughts and beliefs that we formed when we were, under 7 years old that have been kind of running our lives?
Right. Yeah.
Those, so you could kind of address those with either grieving or the forgiveness part, the
Hmm.
forgiveness practice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, um, were you able to, I don't know, uh, understand and get with about the forgiveness aspect of things?
Yes. Yes. It's hard though. It's gotten easier with practice, but it is definitely hard. I mean, I can say I forgive things and I know I'm supposed to let that go, but then they'll come back every once in a while and just poke you in the side and be like, "Oh, you didn't let me go yet." So, um, forgiveness is a hard thing, especially forgiving myself,
Yeah,
for the choices that I made and the things that I did and yeah, things I believed.
but it's all, you know, everything's a practice, including life. I mean, we weren't
Absolutely.
born knowing anything, or maybe we were, but then
We
our
forgot
soul,
it all.
our soul selves knew at all how we are working toward it, but society makes us forget everything. But it's, you know, that is hard, letting go. And the thing I did forget to mention in there was that just because you do it once doesn't mean that it is gone, just like you said. That's why it's a continual lifelong practice. And even if you think like, oh, I think I gotten through that, and yeah, I feel good, and you might feel good for a couple of weeks, but then you get back into your old pattern of thinking or behaving or self-talk or something, and it's
Yeah.
just like, darn, there it is again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think that it is a long process. And I think that over time, like you might not even realize once you've finally gotten through something because you've stopped thinking about it. Like if you're trying to train yourself to not think in the old patterns and you try to replace it with something more positive, eventually you don't even think of the old pattern. So it's hard to be like, hey, I got through that because it's like it's gone.
yeah, well, that's true. But if it's gone, then
Then
hopefully
you're the better
you
person.
you have become a better person and you have let that go,
Right.
right? And
Right.
sometimes I'm sure, I mean, as I do a lot, it's just like, I wish I could be done with it, and move on, because
Mhm.
for sure, I know that I've been carrying around stuff for a long, long, long time.
Right.
And, as I mentioned, I'm really so grateful that I was putting together this program, because it's just like, hello, time to get back at it.
Right.
Oh, and really these last few weeks have been really transformative for me from doing
Great.
this.
That's awesome.
It is. It's
Yeah.
good. But it's just like, okay, here we go again, starting from the beginning. Here we
Yes.
go. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
have to keep trying until you make it, right?
yeah, yeah. I've still got my list in my book. It's a long one. I keep adding to it. But
Right.
ideally, I mean, forgiving other people, if we can forgive that situation, not the situation, but that person, and really let it go. I mean, how much freer you become. And just that, knowing that is just like, I got to get back at this, because,
Right.
you know, I I want that. So
Mhm.
yeah, it is a lifelong practice. And the nice thing is that a lot of the times you are doing a lot of self-forgiveness, and you're always there with yourself.
Right.
So it's easy, it's maybe easier for things to come up and for you to actually practice them.
Mhm.
And I don't mean to be just talking so much, but the Ho'oponopono, I love that forgiveness practice, because it's, like with the other one, it's like, okay, so I forgive myself, and I have to forgive them, and then I have to do this and that. It just seemed longer than the Ho'oponopono. It's like,
Mhm.
I love you, thank you, please forgive me.
Mhm.
Or I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And it is like he said, you just keep saying it over and over again, and
Right.
it's an easy thing to do
Yes.
if
I
you
actually
to do
was
it.
in another group at some point, and I think it was probably like a year ago, and she made us do that.
The Ho'oponopono.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, that too is a practice.
Yes. Yeah, and just saying that, like you said, it doesn't change when your stuff comes up, your baggage, when when that thought is triggered or something happens, you're in the situation where you've handled it poorly before, and then you have to think about that and forgive yourself for doing it incorrectly or doing it so that you didn't bring joy or whatever the thing is that you want to change, once you've practiced or got that thought in your mind about forgiving yourself, it's easier to stop and pause and say, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be forgiving myself. So, it's a constant being aware of and noticing what you're noticing.
Mindful,
Yes.
active mindfulness,
Yes.
which is, a big part of really coming into our true selves and who we really want to be. Because so many people are just here and
Surviving.
living, but not knowing or not realizing. They just think
Mhm.
that, oh, this is what happens with life. For me, oh well,
Right.
not realizing that they actually have the power or the thought process to be able to forgive
Right.
themselves too. Yeah. And which is true, but it's just also, I think, a really important something to remember every time you start saying something on the more negative side, as far as like blaming yourself for something or whatever, is really catching it, saying, wait a minute, stop, whoa, right there,
Right.
I listened to a program with Deb Poneman, and she just like, when you notice that, you just say, cancel that thought. I'm changing it to, and then say a more positive thought.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I guess, important to remember that everything that we do in a more mindful, conscious way is we are making ourselves into a better person than we were a few minutes ago, a
Right.
couple of days ago, several years ago, whatever.
Right.
And I don't know, for me, in my mind, it's easy for me to say, yeah, well, I have gotten a lot better as life progresses. So it seems to make it easier to try to forgive myself for the thoughts that I was thinking back then, or the things that I made a decision to do.
Right.
But then those decisions were made because it puts you in that position where you end up having to learn the lesson that came about from it to progress you onward in your
That's
journey.
right.
So
Well, and that's a good reminder for the forgiveness practice is to, just accept the fact that the choices you made were for the lessons that you needed to learn to
correct.
get you to where you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is awesome. That's a good thing.
Yep. Some of them I had to relearn.
Probably still will have to relearn. Not just you,
Hopefully
but
not many more.
how many times do I have to go through this?
That's right.
And until we get it.
Right. Exactly.
And then maybe, just like we're chuckling about it, maybe we could just treat it sort of like as a game. I mean, it's the game of life,
Mhm.
right? And not be so hard on ourselves just
Right.
because we thought that. We did the best we could with what we knew at that time.
Right. Mhm.
And that's what makes us who we are. So,
Yeah, I've definitely found that not being as hard on myself in the moment is hugely beneficial. I used to beat myself up so badly about doing the wrong thing. And just for days, I would just dwell on it. And it's
yeah.
like, I don't have time for that. Such a waste of energy.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, good for you for realizing that. It is
Only
such
took
a
me
waste.
60 years.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, I'm with you there, sister.
Right?
And actually, just, you do something that's pretty stupid. And then, I mean, I'm just like, oh, geez, what and but really even just saying, okay, stop right there. I don't need to be saying that to myself anymore. I
Right.
made a mistake. I'm human.
Right.
I forgive myself, even if it was for some stupid thing, that is very forgivable. So it's not like you're holding on to it for days.
Right.
It's a good way to start things, those kind of things, start the practice and then
Mhm.
make it a little deeper each time. But
Right.
yeah. Well, that's good. So you have some more work to do.
Yes.
Add to your already busy life.
Well, I try to do these kinds of things for myself. That's just a huge plus. I never did this stuff for myself when I have 4 kids. It's kind of hard to find any time for
Right.
yourself.
Yeah.
So now that they're grown up and I've decided to be in control of my own life and do my own thing, I feel so much better. And doing things like this, our little class, that's for me and it helps me. And I like to set aside time that I can now I'm going to set aside time to do a little ritual to let this grieving stuff go. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I like doing that.
Good. And that's awesome, Terry, because you know what? That's kind of like that's exactly what you just said is what menopause, I believe, is all about. I think many people believe it too. Like the first, 40, 50 years of our lives, we're so busy learning and growing and raising a family, or our careers are doing everything is just like, get it done. And we're so productive and we're on it. We have all our energy and stuff. And then it's just like, whoa, hello, time to slow down here. And what about
Right?
you? What about you, Terry? How are you going to take care of you? Or Donna,
Right.
what is it that's going to make you happy? How do you want to live your life now? Now the rest is all for you. So yay.
Mhm.
We're, clearing the slate so we can start anew.
Right.
And obviously it sounds like you already have you got a lot of great stuff going for you.
Huge changes, definitely. Like a 360 for sure for
That-
me.
I'm very excited for you and happy
Thank
for
you.
you. That's great. So awesome. Well, do you have anything else that did you have any questions or other comments or?
No, I think that you're doing a really good job. I
Oh,
like the modules.
well, thank you. Sorry you have to look at me. On the
Don't
mall.
be sorry about that.
No, I mean, it's just,
You can change that thought.
there's one. Yeah. Oh, well. But thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you, Terry.
Thank you.
We can have these conversations anyway.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
happy that you've, jumped on board to do it and finding it beneficial. So I'm glad about that. I can help you in that way.
Me too.
So, all right. Well, not that, I have to get to bed, but,
I'd like to.
no,
It's okay. I get it.
I know. But, yeah, I don't think I just wanted to say that I forgot to say that it was an ongoing, continual thing. Like you can't for some major, big, huge thing. You can't just say, okay, I forgive you, and yeah, now you can forgive me, and yeah, this is the lesson I learned. And well, I mean, wouldn't that be great if you could just say, okay, thank
Yeah.
you, let's move on now.
Mhm.
But as we keep practicing and continuing to do it, it will get easier. And
I think that I can feel it. I can know it in my head, but I have to actually feel it in my heart.
yes,
And that's the harder part to get to.
exactly. Because
Yeah.
we build up these walls for how many years to
60.
protect ourselves. And yeah, we gotta beat away at it a little at a time, because I
Right.
mean, you can't just disintegrate it or knock it down in one sitting.
Right.
That's tough.
It is tough.
Yeah, but knowing it is one big step to get started, and just make yourself do it. So,
Right.
yeah. Okay, well. All right, well then, I have a great weekend
You as well?
celebrating your daughter and everything else that you're doing.
My crazy life.
Yes. But worth it.
Yes.
Good.
All right. Well, you
All
take
right.
care.
You too, Terry. I'll
All right.
see you next week.
Okay, I'll be here.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.